Hi everyone, I'm Will Brown and welcome to the WPQuickies series, bite-sized WordPress tips and tricks in 30 minutes or less. Today we're going to be looking at, today and over the next few weeks, we're actually going to be looking at some of the WordPress 5.9 releases. So the full site editing, we're going to focus on that today, but there's lots of goodies in WordPress 5.9. So we're going to be exploring that in the next few weeks. So thanks for taking your time and joining me on this quite nice, but probably going to be raining later Sydney afternoon. Drop your name, who you are, where you're from in the comments below. I'll give you a little bit of a shout out while we get things going. If you're on one of the social media channels, make sure you subscribe on YouTube or hit the bell. Give a big thumbs up on Facebook as well. Who have we got here? We've got Future Shock from Marrickville. Thank you for joining in. We've got John as well from a soggy Chatswood, which is much better than underwater Gimpy. I agree. I used to live near Lewisham. And there's one year we had lots of rain, and that whole Lewisham, you kind of go down under the road and back up, and that was completely flooded as well. Not a good sign. Jonathan says hi from the Central Coast. We've got Stone Skull from the Blue Mountains as well. Lovely. I do love going up to the Blue Mountains. John, and we've got Dowie as well from Top IT Service. Thanks so much, guys, for joining in. Let's go through some of the housekeeping slides. So we've got our Facebook group from there. So if you search on Facebook, WordPress Sydney Meetup, you'll be able to find that. And just a little bit of a note, if you are watching on Facebook, click the streamyard.com/Facebook link. I just linked your avatar up with the broadcast suite that we're using here. WPaustralia.org, go and visit us there. It shows you all the meetups that are happening across Australia at the moment. And there's also a link to join the Slack group as well. This is for any of you guys that look after a WordPress site, care for your clients, so you can read more of that later on. And just a little bit of a shout out for the evening meeting. So we do have the WordPress Sydney evening meetup, and that's on at the last Monday of every month, and this month it's February the 28th. And we're going to be dissecting WordPress 5.9 in that as well, but that's going to be a one huge session. So looking at WordPress 5.9 throughout that entire session on that evening session, whereas on the WPQuickies here, I'm breaking it down to kind of little bite-sized bits for you. Always looking for more topics, so if you can send in some more topics. Had some great ones last week, and that was really good, so thank you for sending those in if you had those. I'll post the link down there, and please do send me some links so I can queue up some more WPQuickies for the later half of the year. As always, links will be posted in the video description afterwards, and you'll drop some comments as well, and ask some questions those in the comments, and I'll try and do my best to answer those. Okay, that's all the housekeeping done. Thanks for bearing with me for those. Let's jump into WordPress 5.9 full site editing. Okay, so I've not got very many slides here because I want to do a demo, but let's address the big elephant in the room. A lot of people have been asking me about this. So full site editing with WordPress 5.9, you need a specific combination at the moment. So you are going to need WordPress 5.9 or 5.9.1, which was just released yesterday, I think. And you're going to need a block-enabled full site editing template. And there's only one of those just now. It's called 2022, and that's the theme that's bundled with 5.9. Now, so just to be clear, if you're running Astra or Vada or any of these other big themes, you're not going to be able to use this full site editing functionality at the moment. They're going to need to make some tweaks for that to make it compatible. But I'm sure, given time, the number of full site editing compatible themes is going to grow and grow and grow. I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually more out there right now, but let's just have a look. We'll stick with 2022 at the moment and just have a quick look through that. So just a very brief overview. What can you edit in full site editing mode? Well, the clue's in the name, full site. So we're looking at things like the header, the footer, and the 404 page, home page, your single post, all the pages, and there's a few different options for those. Your main index, that's your blog index. Your search, archives as well, so tags and categories, and there's a blank one there as well for landing pages. Now, if you have WooCommerce installed as well, which I did on my test website, it actually throws up some of the pages for those as well. So you can edit things like single product, your product archive, so that's all your products, similar to the blog archive, and again, your product tags and categories as well. So they're all included to be able to edit, as long as you've got that combination of WordPress 5.9 and 2022 in those. Morris says, hi everyone. And we've got Dowie says, good day, Morris. You guys can chat in the chat. That's okay. Okay, let's jump into a demo. That's all the slides I've got, just one, couple. So let me just take off my screen just now, and I'll get the demo ready. I can just flip over to the correct screen. That looks good. F11 full screen and add it back into the string. Okay, and I'll hide myself down here. Okay, so this is one of my little demo websites. Sorry if I'm looking at the other screen. Follows. I should get another camera up there. I will do eventually. But here we are. This is WordPress 5.9. It's probably not 5.9.1, but it's the latest version on the dashboard. Yeah, it's 5.9.1. Good. And it's running the 2022 theme here. So very, very basic stuff for those, but let's have a look. So when you, let's go to the appearance and themes. So you can see here, I've not got a child theme, I've just got the 2022, I've just enabled it, activated it. So that's the default theme that's on. Once that is switched on, you will notice that in your appearance menu changes slightly. So things have gone, customizer has gone, because this is now the new full site editing editor. So now you've, well, it's not gone, but you know, some of the options there are gone. But now you get this editor with a lovely little beta sign there. I'm not a big fan of throwing beta stuff into production rollouts, but it is what it is. So here we are. So we've just got this one option, editor. So you see like menus and things like those have disappeared because it's all kind of bundled in together. So let's have a quick look. Let's jump in the editor. Okay, so first thing, what it does here is it throws you into the home page. I think this is the home page, or is it the page, the single page here from here. So at the top here, it tells you what template that you're editing. So this is page. It gives you some links to jump to different areas of the page as well. So you can do the header. You can see that header is highlighted, or you can jump to the footer, which is down below there. Or you've got a link there to browse all templates. Now, a little bit confusing is that normally when you click on this WordPress icon, it takes you back to the dashboard if you're in full site editing, not full site, full width editing mode. But in this new editor, and these things I'm sure are going to get ironed out over the next few releases, but if you do click on this, it doesn't go directly back to the WordPress dashboard. It actually brings you down to the editor options. So you can see here that we are on site at the moment by default. So it's showing the site, and this is the front end of the site with your header, with your middle bit, and with your footer down here. So from here, you can access templates. And this is all the templates for the 2022 theme. So these are the bits that traditionally you would have to edit with PHP, get a developer or designer to go and edit those templates. Now with this full site editor, you can muck around with them yourself, which is great. So you can also get here, so if I'm on site, you can also get there from browse all templates from there, and it takes you straight to there. So a little quick link from here. But I like to use this side navigation just so I know exactly where I'm going to. So we've got site, which allows you to edit that page. We've got templates, which shows all the templates here from 2022. We've also got template parts as well. So included in template parts are footer and your header. So these are the parts of the website that aren't really part of the theme, if you understand what I'm saying. So the theme, all the different pages and templates for the theme, but then you've got the site-wide stuff, which is your header and your footer. So these are called template parts. We've actually got some options here. So we've got the footer, we've got the header. We've also got two different types of headers. So we've got a header which is dark and large, and we've got a header which is dark and small. And so these are just bundled templates. They're kind of showing you what sort of stuff that you can have and that you can switch between for those. So we'll have a look at those in a minute. Let's go into templates just now, have a quick look, see what there is here. So what we've got here, we've got the page with no separators. We've got a page with a large header for those. We've got your home, so that's what you're specified in your setting. We've got the home page here. We've got a blank template, which is useful for landing pages, of course. You've got a blank canvas. You don't really want headers and footers on landing pages. Then you've got your single page. You've got your single post. That's your blog post there. Then you've got this single post with no separators. I'm not quite sure what it means by no separators, but I'm sure we can investigate that a little bit later. I'll probably have a look in the larger WordPress meetup exactly what that means. But you've got access to other things that would be normally bundled with a WordPress theme, you know, at the template level, PHP stuff that you, again, need a developer or designer to get to. So we've got 404 pages. You've got your index, your blog post, you've got your archives, so that's tags and categories. You've got your search template as well. And these are the things that are bundled with WooCommerce. So you've got your product archive, your single product, your product category, and product tag. Of course, they're not going to be available if you've not got WooCommerce installed. I was just a little surprised and quite pleasantly surprised that those came bundled with the 2022 ones there. But let's have a quick look. So let's have a look at the site. So you can see here we are editing the page, just a normal page, a single page. I've got access to the header here, and then we've got the middle bit here, which is a post title, and then we've got the bottom bit here, which is the footer as well. So if we use this list view, and I use this all the time now because I'm doing a lot of work with block-based sites at the moment. So if you use this list view, it brings out the list of all the different blocks and how they're all bundled together for that. So this is really useful. And we get a glimpse of how they've built, put together the header, the footer, and like kind of the main content as well. So let's have a quick look at the header. So here we have the header, and that's the one that's highlighted at the moment. And we can see here that first of all, not many of you might not played around with like the groups and rows and stuff in blocks, but straight away you can see that at the moment all that header that would be displayed in the header of the website, that's bundled into a group. Okay, so they've bundled all those blocks together into a group, so you can move it up and down if you wanted to. You wouldn't do because it's a header, but they've bundled all those as a group, so they all kind of relate to each other. And then you've got a row, and the row basically allows you, it's kind of similar to columns, but it just means that in a row, all your blocks align with each other horizontally for those. They come one after the other rather than underneath each other. So we've got one big row, and then within that, we've got a row, and then we've got a navigation. So again, they're bundling stuff together, another row, because they want, within this row, they want the site logo and the site title, and they're pulled from the customizer, from your general site settings from there. They're pulled in from there. So these two blocks, they want them to side by side together. So they bundled that into a row, and then because this row is in a row, these are all going to be bundled together as well. So on the next part, you've got the navigation. Now this one's quite large for me because this is my test website, and I've been playing around with lots of stuff. So if you don't have a menu defined, then it basically just chucks in all the pages it can find as like a sample general menu. But you can see here, got navigation. So this is one of the new blocks, the navigation blocks here. And we can see here that right away at the top, it's got select menu. So I can go and select the menu for here, and I've got one that's created already called top nav. So I'll just gonna click on that. And straight away you can see I've just got two items in my top nav menu. I've got shop and check, so I'm probably playing around with WooCommerce on this demo. So straight away you can see you can choose the particular menu, and you can align it as well, left or right, and do the justification. And then within that block, you actually get the different components for those. So these are the navigation elements within the navigation Gutenberg block. So you can see here we've got a shop element, and we've got a checkout element. And again, you can get access to the settings for there, so show more settings. And again, you can see that's a page link, and this is a page link as well. And you've got access to your description, your link title, your link rel, and advanced stuff, which is usually just a CSS class for that. So again, you can create your menus, you can edit your menus, you can add extra stuff into here. For those, you can add a sub menu, you can add new elements as well into that. So again, you've got like fine control within the block without actually having to jump out into customizer or any other particular part. So that's how the header is built up. You've got your logo, you've got your site title that you bring in for the settings, and then you've got a navigation element, a new element from there with its page links or whatever links that you have. And that is all bundled up into a group because they're all grouped together, and that's bundled into your site header that's supported in 2022. And if you look at the footer is very similar. And so what we've got here is just the group, and then another group, and then we've got a row, and we've got the site title again. They're bringing the site title and the paragraph, which is proudly powered by WordPress, which is the default for any footer that comes with 2020 themes. And again, so that's bundled as the footer and bundled as the header. And if you make changes right here within this page format, then that'll be reflected throughout the entire site, obviously. So you don't have to go directly back into here and then into the template part to edit just those. You can edit that within this context here, which is the single page view as well. Or you can go straight into them and edit them individually, if you want to do that. Okay, so let's go back to the site one here. Templates, and then back to the site. Oh, what have I done? It wants to do the footer. Okay, let's go back into the template, the single page one, which is this one. There we go, that's better. So just having a quick look, how am I doing for time? It is, oh, good, 1:15. So we can see here, if we have a look, sorry, at this view. So we've done the header, we've done the footer. You can see that in the middle here, so this is like the single page on your website. We can see here that the actual main content, which would usually be handled within the PHP template as like another block template. And we see here, this is all grouped together as well. So you've got three parts really to your website. You've got your header, you've got your footer, but then you've got your main content, and this is in a group. So we've got a group, and then we've got two groups within that for here. This first group here is showing the post title. Of course, you want the post title on your pages. Then there's a featured image as well. So again, that's grabbing that information from your blog post. And then they've got a separator here. Oh, that's a separator. Okay, so that I shall remember the on no separator. I don't really like these separators, but anyway, this is what's bundled with 2022. You've got post title, you've got your featured image, which grabs through from the page of post. Spacer for that, just to give a little bit more blank space, and then the post content here. So we've got kind of three major blocks here. We've got a title, a post title, we've got a post featured image, and we've got a post content as well. So all that information that you're grabbing out of the database, and you're splitting it into a block. And of course, you are free to move these around any which way you want. You know, so if you want the post title under the featured image at the top, and if you want to play around with the different dimensions, give it margins, give it dimensions and stuff, or play around with the geotone, then you can do that all within this template editor. So just underneath, we've got the post comments as well. So the post comments block, which is a relatively new block as well. So that's a very basic layout. But we shouldn't think it's not up to speed with Beaver Builder or with Elementor or with Divi. What we should be thinking is, wow, I don't need to hire a developer or a designer. I can do it myself. So if you start bringing in other plugins, for example, something like GeneratePress with Generate Blocks, then you've pretty much got like full access to arrange that however you like. But this is like a big game changer in WordPress, I think. So I've played around with the interface a little bit. It's okay. It's fairly stable. I've had a few glitches with JavaScript. I've had a few blocks missing. I've not been able to move things around. Sometimes you get the spacing, the placement seems to disappear sometimes. But apart from that, I think it's pretty good. So you can obviously go to things like the 404 page. So you've got like a very basic one here, but if you want to jazz that up, you can certainly do that. And again, what I would do is I would install 2022, activate it, and have a look around how they've grouped these things together. So obviously we've looked at the header and footer, and they're standard on every page. You could delete them on this one if you wanted to, but they just have a look at the way that Automatic are building up these 2022 pages, these block-based pages. You see, I've got these groups, and then within groups, and then we can see the row at the top. So these kind of very basic elements. And okay, they're not as fancy as some you'd find in Elementor or Beaver, but they do allow you to build a basic page up from scratch by yourself without a developer or designer. So I think that's really good. And of course, being groups, you can kind of move the content up, you can move the content down, and that's the reason for those groups there. And then here we've got a heading block, and then we've got a simple paragraph, and then we've got a search block as well. And you can add anything else that you want to put on these pages. You've got access to the full blocks in there that come with core. You've got your text, your media, your design elements. You can add buttons, stuff like those. You've got your widgets. So what you'd normally find, in the widgets area, you can drag stuff there. So if you want to have shortcodes or social icons on there, and then you've got theme access as well. So you've got menu navigations, you've got previous text, archive titles, and then all your embeds if you want to put social stuff, social comments, video, or all that in there. So and the WooCommerce stuff at the bottom as well. So product reviews, best-selling products, so you can promote stuff within pretty much any template that you like. Let me just go out of that. So again, templates, really good. And again, just quickly, I wasn't going to demo this, but we might as well got a little bit of room here, a little bit of time. So again, these are the WooCommerce ones. So here's the WooCommerce. Let's have a quick look at that. And we can see it. This is just a simple group. And then we've got the WooCommerce Legacy template. So that's bringing in the template, the PHP code. So what we can see here is they've tried their best to try and be compatible with WooCommerce out the box with WordPress 5.9. But I think what that is doing is it's just bringing in the PHP template that WooCommerce applies to that particular product archive. So there's not a lot of options. In fact, there's none for those. So I think we'll see that change very, very soon, probably the next release of WooCommerce, that we'll be able to add more specific blocks around these block-based themes. Let's just go back to the templates. We'll do one more. Let's have a quick look at the index. So this is where you're displaying a blog post, so your main index one. Again, have a look at the list view, have a look at the way that they've built it up. So here's one of the other new blocks. This is called the query loop. And what that allows you to do, that allows you to grab posts out of the database based on different things and basically display them on your front end website. So we can see this query loop here. We've got the default layout, so we're just getting posts, but that you can create different elements. I'm not quite sure where did it go. Query loop. There we go. So you can choose a different layout, inherit from template. That's it. So by default, it is inheriting the query from the template. So it's just going to have your posts from the newest to the last. But you can grab out posts based on whatever you want, basically. So you can do different types of post types. So here we've got posts, we've got page, we've got product, we've got WooCommerce. And then we've got the order. So you can set newest to oldest, oldest, newest, or you can do alphabetical sorting. Oops, I clicked out of that. Sorry about that. And then you've got sticky posts, you can include them or exclude them. And then you've got, I keep clicking out, then you've got certain filters as well. So you've got categories, so you can pull information out based on a particular category or a particular tag or by an author, or this is probably the most powerful, or by keyword. So if you want to do like a landing page, it's just got focused on, maybe you've got blog posts that are all focused on SEO. You can put SEO in there and it'll look through and grab all your SEO related blog posts for that. So it's really, really powerful. I really do like that just now. And again, you've got all the different types of blocks here. You've got your post title, your featured image, of course. Here, we're having a look at the columns. So we've got some columns here. And that's basically just telling us like no post excerpt found, and then you've got your post excerpt and then your post date as well. You could put author in there as well and group that just underneath for that. And then they've got separator, but then you've got your pagination. Again, these are relatively new blocks. So pagination, previous, next page, and your numbers. And again, you've got a few settings that you can change. You can change the sizes and typography and things like that. But essentially, that is your blog page, your homepage, and how you get those blog posts out. So the query loop is going to be a very powerful block, and I think they're going to see that being modified quite a bit as these block-based themes progress. Okay, that's all I want to show you today. That's the bulk of it. It's still in very beta mode, but it is usable. I really do suggest that you spin up a test site off yourself and install WordPress 5.9 and install 2022. Just have a play around. I think it's useful just to know how these new block pages are being built, with the rows and the groups and the columns, because this is going to become more prevalent. People are still using Divi, they're still using Beaver Builder and Elementor and stuff like that, and they're not going to go away for a long time. But if you're looking for speed, then block-based templates are the way to go. As I said, I've been using a lot of sites just now using GeneratePress and Generate Blocks, those combination. They just add a simple few blocks. They're not fancy page editors, but it allows you to build up a really good website just using the blocks themselves. Let me see if I can get my presentation back. There we go. So that's it. Perhaps your first introduction to WordPress core full site editor. Not quite a match for the current page builders, but it's only going to get better and better and more features as it matures. There are a few questions here. Let me just drill through and have a look and see. Debbie's got one. He asks, Can you change the layout of the page, i.e. the sidebars? Yes, that stuff is all available in the page attributes as well. And that's on a per page basis. Or if your theme supports that, that's going to be through the customizer, and in the layouts section within the customizer, you'll be able to apply those different settings for things like pages or your WooCommerce product page. So you can say like use a sidebar or don't use a sidebar, or you can override that on single pages. So that's always in the page options for that. Jonathan says, looks to me like lots of opportunities to experiment with a test site, of course. Yes, absolutely. As I say, these are only going to start getting, there could be more and more block-based themes come out. You're going to see that the big popular themes are going to start to embrace this stuff. So things like Avada and Astra, I mean, they already have their own method of editing their header and the footers and for things like that. But you're going to see that they're going to start to embrace this new editor, when it starts to reach a little bit more maturity as well. So I think a lot of people are kind of waiting to see exactly which direction it goes before they put time and effort for integration. But definitely Automatic are on a mission to blockify everything. And it's going to be pretty prevalent in the next couple of years. So that's the way it's going to go. Okay, guys, thank you so much for that. I'm going to cut it here. I'm almost at 30 minutes. Just a quick, here's how you can contact me. So I'm mostly on LinkedIn these days. I'm a developer Will. I am on Instagram, Will_AU, and Twitter on the same address as well. Please connect with me if you haven't done so already. So next week, we are going to do a little bit of a dive into the 2022 theme, a little bit closer look as to see exactly what's in there. We're maybe going to pick out some of those particular Gutenberg elements and building blocks as well to see exactly what's supported in there for the theme. That's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you found that useful, having a quick look at this this new site editor. Join me next week if you're interested in looking at 2022 in a little bit more depth. Okay, take care, guys, and see you next week. Bye.